Hey guys, today we're really going to be looking at some word problems, which I know is like, I don't like word problems, but this is where math comes to life, and this is where math really is in the real world that you will see. So we're going to spend some time there. So the other thing today is that we are going to be using Desmos to help us graph these things because in reality, the biggest thing we need to know how to do is to write our equations and inequalities and then know what to do with the solutions. Um, you do need to be comfortable with graphing them by hand, but there comes a point when let's use the technology that we have. So we're going to be using Desmos here. So first of all, I see that we've got our system. We're going to have to come up with a system because I'm dealing with a couple of different things altogether. Suppose I bought flour and cornmeal in bulk to make flour tortillas and corn tortillas. Flour costs $1.50 per pound and cornmeal costs $2.50 per pound. You want to spend less than $25 on flour and cornmeal, but you need at least 6 pounds altogether. So that's what's telling me that I have those two different equations or inequalities is I'm dealing with money for one of them and I'm dealing with like how much for the other one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use X and Y here. So I know I've been using different variables to help me remember, but I'm going to go ahead and use X and Y just so Desmos can help us and graph it. So I'm going to assign flour being X and cornmeal being Y, just to make it a little easier, and I can. So flour is $1.50 per pound and cornmeal is $2.50 per pound, and I need to spend less than $25. I have $25, so that means I could spend up to that amount. I know that I need at least 6 pounds, so I need the very minimum would be 6 pounds. So that's how we would write this system of inequalities to get started with. So now that we've got that written, I'm going to go ahead and use Desmos, and you can't really see what I'm typing, but I'm just typing in exactly what we just had. Plus 2.5y is less than or equal to 25. And then I also have x plus y is greater than or equal to 6. So now I can see that I have this spot. And really, again, since this is that kind of real life problem, I'm going to just move it like here. Oh, and I guess zoom a little bit. I don't care about negatives here, right? Because I can't have negative money here, and I can't have negative flour, and I can't have negative cornmeal. So that's kind of why I'm just going to be living in this positive part. So you can see that I have this area that's defined by just my solutions. So let's go ahead and look back at our work that we were doing. Is I'm going to go ahead and make note of kind of the important places. So I see here I've got at 10 and at 6, and then at 6 and at like 16 and 3/4. So I can use that to help me kind of graph my area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it was at 6 again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then my other piece was at 16 and a bunch. So we'll be as close as we can. 7, 8, 9 is kind of way over here. Okay, so now I can just kind of connect those dots and kind of shade it in. And I know I can connect them with all solid lines because I have that equal to piece underneath here. Okay, so two possible solutions. So now I want to look inside my solution set and come up with some possibilities. And because we're dealing with pounds of flour, and I want to go ahead and use these whole number values. So I see that if I've got, let's see, 6 pounds of flour, and I'm going to go ahead and label, since we gave flour as the X and cornmeal as our Y, I'm going to go ahead and label my axes that way. So if I have 6 pounds of flour, I could have 3 pounds of cornmeal. So I've got 3 of cornmeal and 6 of flour. That would be one solution because it falls right in here. Well, I could also have 8 pounds of flour and I could have 2 pounds of cornmeal. So you're finding your possible solutions based on what is in your shaded area. Okay, so let's look at, I'm going to leave example number 2 for you to go ahead and deal with. And we will look at, let's go ahead and just look at example 5. So I'm just going to do a couple of these examples with you, and then I'll post all the answers for you to do as well. Okay, so a clothing store has a going out of business sale. They're selling pants for $8.99 and shirts for $3.99. You can spend as much as $60 and would like to buy at least 2 pairs of pants. So now let's see what this is going to be looking at. So again, I'm dealing with money and then I'm dealing with the number of things. So I see my money. I'm going to have, I'm going to go pants is going to be my X value and shirts will be my Y value. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down here. So here's my pants and here's my shirts. So I know I want to spend as much as $60 because that's all I've got. So I see $8.99 plus $3.99 can be at most, it has to be less than or equal to my $60. And if you wanted to, because we're dealing with this real life situation, you could kind of round these values up to 9 and 4. It's up to you. Because it'll be still be close enough because we're dealing with just whole number values of what we're looking at. So then the other one is I know that my X needs to be greater than or equal to 2 because I want at least 2 pairs of pants. So this one I can graph pretty easily, right? I know that this one's going to be a vertical line at X equals 2. So now let's go ahead and use Desmos to help us with the other piece. So I see that I've got X is greater than or equal to 2. That's that part. The other piece that I had was I had 9x plus 4y was less than or equal to 60. Okay, so I see I've got at 10.5 or at 6 3/4 or 6 2/3, which are not in reality possible values that I could have, but it gives us kind of our limiting factors. Okay, so I can go ahead and continue and finish this out. So at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 and a little bit. So here I'm going to have my solid line and anything in here. So then again, I can use this and use Desmos to help me find some actual possible solutions. So anywhere in here where I cross one of the grid lines would be one of my possible solutions. So I want you to come up with a couple possibilities and see if they match mine. And it really doesn't matter because there's, as you can see, lots of possibilities. So now there's some other examples, 4 more examples I want you to try and work through. I'm going to go ahead and post the answers for you so you know that you're doing it right. So when you can jump into that homework, let me know when you get stuck.